If you lose control now, you lose everything.
In this jungle, silence isn't peace, it's something waiting. We don't speak here, because silence carries faster than sound.
Every step forward has to be earned. The ground decides if you pass.
The worst moment is when you know something is there, but can't prove it.
You don't rush forward, not when the ground can betray you first.
The jungle doesn't just slow you down, it forces you to become smaller. Even the smallest rise can expose everything if you're not careful. You don't always see danger, sometimes you hear what's missing. When the light comes back, it doesn't make things safer. It reveals more to fear. You don't step into open ground until you understand who's already there. They're not running, which means they've already run out of options. You don't need words to understand when everyone already knows what's at stake. Orders tell you what to do, but they don't tell you what it costs. They don't ask for help, because they already know what happens if you say no. If we take them, we change the mission. If we don't, we change ourselves. The moment you move, they move with you. And there's no undoing that. The moment they join you, the silence gets heavier. In this place, even a breath too loud can travel farther than you think. You don't need to see them to know they're already closer. It's not the first movement that matters, it's when it repeats.
Some terrain doesn't just slow you down, it traps you in it.
When it stops being one direction, you know you're already surrounded. The worst part isn't the fight, it's the moment right before it starts. It never starts loud. It starts with something too fast to understand. You don't fire at the enemy, you fire at where the threat comes from. One shot becomes two, and then you realize you're not facing one man.
If you lose control now, you lose everything.
It only takes one round. You don't stop the fight, you adjust around the damage. The longer it lasts, the harder it is to stay ahead of it. You don't win fights like this. You survive them long enough to move again. You don't run from a fight. You leave it in pieces. You don't leave your own, even when it slows everything down. You don't ask them to keep up, you make sure they don't fall behind.
You create your own distance, one controlled move at a time.
Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's over. fight doesn't end when the shooting stops. It stays in your body. The longer you move like this, the more exposed you become. They don't need to chase you, they just follow where you're forced to go. They're not chasing you, they're guiding you where they want you to go. You think you're choosing the path, but the path is choosing you. The closer they get, the quieter everything becomes. You feel it before it happens, because this time, there's no space left to move. It doesn't give you space to react. Them clearly, you're in where they break the pattern.
One direction becomes two, and now you're fighting the space itself.
If you can't control the fight, you control your next move. You don't get a clean exit. You build one step by step. You carry them now, or you carry them the cost later. You don't speed them up. You make the path safer, one step at a time. You don't outrun it, you outpace it, piece by piece. The weight doesn't come from the gear, it comes from everything you're carrying. You can carry a man, but you can't carry him forever at the same pace. When you finally stop, that's when everything catches up to you.
It's only when you stop that you realize how close it really was.
You don't measure damage in blood, you measure it in what comes next. They're still here, and that means the mission is no longer simple. You don't get to stay here, not after everything it took to get this far.
You keep moving, even when you don't know how much further it goes.
The silence at the end feels different from the silence at the start. You don't leave it behind, you just carry it somewhere else. You don't realize you've made it until nothing is trying to stop you anymore. It doesn't feel like victory, it feels like something you'll remember longer than you want to. You don't count what you gained. You count what it took to get here. At the end, everyone is still moving. That's the only thing that matters. The mission ends, but what it leaves behind doesn't. You won't remember every moment, just the ones that stayed too long. No one talks about it, because everyone already understands. You don't look back to go there again. You look back to know you made it out. In the end, you don't remember the map. You remember the distance you had to survive. You don't leave it behind. It just walks with you, long after this moment is over.